right, guys, welcome back to Rough Draft Research. Yes. We are going into the AFC West, and this is kind of a homer division for us as we're out here in Kansas. Well, not all of us, not anymore. Christian, how you doing from Oregon? How's that weather?
It's good. Feels awesome outside. It's finally out of the heat wave, so it's normal weather again.
All right, and we're done with that. Okay.
It's only 91 after sundown here.
Right.
Well, it was 117 when I got here, which is super not normal for this place, but it's cooling off now.
That's
good.
Fucked.
Must be nice. It's just consistently just hot and humid here, but
you get your Seahawks jerseys yet?
Oh
no, gross.
Okay. I think we all can agree with that. Well, do you guys want to do a little rookie talk, or are we gonna do that at the end?
You can do it now. I mean,
I think we should.
It's week 1 of preseason.
I think we should talk a little bit about week 1 of preseason. Very exciting. It was fun to finally see these fucking rookies in some college or some pro unis. I just want to throw out Kylan Hill, 20-yard touchdown screen.
Yeah, he did.
Looking good. I mean,
that was the one positive yardage play he had.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's what that's what I predicted him to do, man. Catch the ball and get an open space.
He did look good on that run.
Yeah, if you, as long as that's the only play you see, you're gonna be very impressed.
That's fair.
We had Christian's boy Chuba Hubbard looking pretty damn good.
Pretty fast.
Can we talk about Josh Palmer's 6 targets or 6 catches?
Yeah, he led that entire team with targets and catches and yards. So
that was pretty impressive, man. Josh Palmer looked like a natural.
Yeah, he did. Good thing I called that.
Yeah.
No other expert called it.
I think Larry Roundtree had a pretty good night that night.
Yeah, Larry Roundtree scared in our league, Justin Jackson.
People got shook.
And Josh Kelly got dropped. I was like,
crazy.
Yep, I'm out.
Like Justin Jackson's still the backup there, right?
Yep. Or is it Darius
Bradwell?
Bradwell.
Dude, that guy's repping the number 34 jersey. I was like, hey, man, I mean, you're not going to be sad when Roundtree takes his number back after you get cut because he just took your job, right?
Right.
So, but no, he looked good. He had a 25-yard rush, and I think he averaged like 7, nearly 8 yards per carry. So I was happy to see it. He got vultured on that touchdown, though. They took him out. Should have left him in. But enough about me. What else happened, man?
Hey,
Trey Sermon.
Trey Lance looked really good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then really bad. And then really good.
One like that. Justin Fields did a little looking good and looking bad as well.
I think all of the rookie quarterbacks, and we can throw Jordan Love in there since this is literally the first time he's ever put on a uniform and thrown a ball in the NFL. But he was up and down just like these other guys. So,
let's talk about another rookie quarterback that looked pretty bad. Kellen Mond looked pretty awful. So did Amir Smith-Marset. He had 2 slants that hit him in the hands, and he was pretty tight coverage, but it just it looked bad.
Yeah.
Rookie's going to do what rookie's going to do, man. They can't all be Terrace Marshall.
Jesus Christ, that guy.
I mean, he wasn't really covered on that one play, but he looked sharp. He looked his form. As did Trey Sermon, man. He was getting the yards after contact that I really love about him. Just getting hit by NFL players and still getting that extra 3 yards. Sometimes maybe fumble a little bit when doing it, but that's just rookie shit.
Yeah.
Just not giving a fuck, huh?
Michael Strachan looked pretty good.
I was impressed by Strachan. I feel like that was me alone calling that. So you hear me, industry fantasy football. Yeah. I come to reign supreme.
Hell yeah. Well, shit, now we got a little chatter out of the way. You guys want to jump right into the Chiefs?
Chefs. You guys remember that commercial, man? That was looks good, but who are the chefs?
Yeah. The guy who painted the end zones.
Yeah. that cracks me up. All right.
So yeah, let's talk the Kansas City Chiefs, man. I'll start with the coach's corner. It's the coach's corner is going to be pretty brief tonight. You know, we've all been pretty busy, so I think everything's going to be kind of short and sweet. But we'll definitely touch on what needs to be touched on.
Ooh.
Yeah, we will.
Hell yeah. I mean, Andy Reid, what is there to say about this guy? You know, he reigned supreme there in Philadelphia for some time. The guy is just an elite coach. Pretty much, if you find someone who's coached with Andy Reid, you know, there's going to be some promise. You're going to get hired unless you're Eric Bieniemy, because apparently he's a bad interviewer. But, I mean, I think this team's just going to be pretty much similar. And we'll talk about all the additions. I mean, this is a Patrick Mahomes team. Eric Bieniemy is a great coach. I don't know why nobody is hiring him.
Maybe the dude's just like, oh, not everybody who gets a head coaching job is very successful. I'm very successful in the job that I have, that I love, in a great organization with the best quarterback in the NFL. Like, you know what I mean? That's my point. Go ahead. Sorry.
It could be that, or it could be maybe teams are finally starting to wise up and stop hiring coordinators for coaches that do their job.
Yeah.
You know, like Andy Reid, offensive coordinator, Matt Nagy. He's not doing very well on his own. And the same thing with Bill Belichick when you hire his defensive coordinator.
True.
You know, although Brian Flores is doing well, but was he was special teams? No, he was defensive coordinator. So maybe, I don't know. Who knows? He'll get hired, though. It's going to happen.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I don't know if there's much to say in the coaching corners. You watch the NFL, you know Andy Reid, you know that offense. He's changing his playbook like every second, it seems like, scheming guys open. So I think mostly what we need to talk about is this offense and the additions, and I'll kick it over to you guys for that.
What additions?
The whole line.
Oh, shit, yeah.
Brand new offensive line. I mean, that was the only thing they did. And let's be real, it was the only thing they needed to do, realistically. Like, you bring in Orlando Brown to play left tackle, Joe Thuney. You got a guard, and you got Kyle Long. I think they just rebuilt it. Who knows if it'll work? New England's famous for spitting out offensive linemen that were great up there and then them not being nearly as good. We'll talk about another one of those guys later. And then Kyle Long was retired, but they're trying. And if it works, then this offense is going to be that even more dangerous, you know?
Heck yeah, man. Yeah, it's going to be pretty awesome when you talk about the O-line ending the season as the 11th rank and then now making all those changes, moving up to 7th, which feels like it's going to be more closer to 5 if you ask me.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was pretty sweet what they did with Baltimore and getting Orlando Brown. Very affordable for a star left tackle like that. So, man, I'm pretty stoked, honestly. I'm really excited to see what it does for the run game. I mean, we had Clyde Edwards-Helaire coming out, first round draft capital, missing 3 games. You know, he had 800 yards, but he only had 5 touchdowns on the year, receiving and rushing. And you got to do better than that, man. You know what I mean? So
yeah,
I don't know what the hell's going on with Lev Bell, but he's leaving 63 carries and 17 targets. There's not a ton of change on this offense. Sammy Watkins was targeted 55 times last year, and he's out of town. So
I will say something about that. Just one, we've already talked about how I think Cornell Powell fits into that role pretty well.
Yep.
But man, their receiving core is kind of weak. If Hill goes down, you're looking at me, Cole, Brian Pringle, DeMarcus Robinson, and then hopefully a rookie Cornell Powell doing well. I don't know. That just it's a bit of a danger. I mean, you have Mahomes, so it should be fine, but.
Yeah, but they've always ran like that, you know. It's always just been Kelsey and Hill. I mean,
yeah, that's fair.
I feel like the last guy they had in this offense that wasn't one of those two was Jeremy Maclin, you know?
Yeah.
And that was a long time
That's
ago.
fair. And Sammy Watkins has his problems, but we've seen him be really good when they need him sometimes, though.
Oh,
We haven't seen it from really any of these other guys. Maybe Demarcus Robinson.
Yeah, I'm pretty high on DeMarcus.
But
I think he's going to.
I don't know. I'm still waiting on Pringle. Okay.
You waiting
fair
on
enough.
Pringle?
I mean, I'm not waiting, but we haven't seen it.
Yeah. I'm scared about Nicole, man, but we don't have to. I mean, I could talk straight Chiefs for the whole time. I do think Cornell Powell is going to be a baller. It feels like a lot of stuff I see, people aren't really excited about him. And
He hasn't had that great of a camp so far, apparently.
Ugh.
So, the draft capital is whatever, but give him time. I think in that offense, it's built like if you're going to put in the work, you're going to come out ahead. So
Yeah. Those Clemson wide receivers, they love their work.
Oh, yeah, man. That's all they do. I don't know, Sammy Watkins joke?
No, him and Amari Rogers.
For sure.
Yeah, they just work all the time.
I was trying to think of all the cool Clemson receivers out there.
I just meant the two rookies. I don't know that much about Clemson.
Hopkins, perhaps?
Oh, yeah. There you go.
He was pretty good, I
Mike
think.
Williams.
He's all right.
So I was a little bummed about the second round draft pick of Nick Moulton, Bolton. I hope he's awesome because really should have got Terrace Marshall Jr. because then we wouldn't be talking about how weak this wide receiver core is behind Tyreek. Can you imagine? I know I'm not going to say it like for the rest of my life, but at least another 5 years. So can you imagine though this offense if they had done that? Like that would have been next level, personally.
Yeah, that would have been 30.
So, but yeah, they didn't make a lot of changes, especially on the skill position side. The offensive line way up. The defense got a little bit of spiciness added to it too.
Yeah.
So they brought back Sorensen. Hell yeah, I love that guy.
Dirty Dan.
Hell
But yeah, as far as fantasy goes, you should see, I would assume, the same amount of production as you did last year out of your Chiefs guys, which was awesome. Probably more from CEH, like you were talking about with the new offensive line. But other than that, I mean, Hill's still going to be a beast. Kelsey's still going to be a beast. And Mahomes is Mahomes. So
for sure, they were the sixth ranked scoring offense last year at 473 points. The defense allowed a tied for 10th, 362 points, and they finished the season 14-2, and then they went to the Super Bowl.
And
they were like,
the
season's
I don't
over,
know
right?
what happened.
One more game. Oh, shit.
and then everyone watched a horrible offensive line lose a Super Bowl, and we're like, we don't need to do that. It's not important.
Yeah, I mean, you can't take anything away from that Tampa Bay defense.
Oh, definitely.
Oh, no, not at all. But that's a great defense, shows you how much of a problem it had been all year,
Mm-hmm.
They're ranked higher than I would have ranked them because Mahomes gets them out of a lot of situations. He runs like 12 yards back every time he's in the shotgun and then just launches the ball.
Yeah.
And he's still pressured a lot. And so it was, okay, they've been getting away with this stuff for so long that, we don't need to fix it. And then you finally played a defense that could take advantage of it.
Yep.
Right. Yeah, he was never really that pocket quarterback that typically you have to be successful. But so now maybe, dude, just pour some gas on that fire.
Yeah.
Open the door for, Cornell Powell or something.
Any more on the Chiefs?
No. Hopefully it's not Spagnola's last year.
Yeah. Who do you guys want to go to next?
Broncos?
Sounds great.
Broncos. Yeah, we can knock this out. So let's go to the Denver Broncos. So I wanted to start here with George Patton, the general manager that they brought over. They brought him over from the Vikings. I think that's really important because he himself brought in Pat Shurmur, who, if you guys are unfamiliar, was the offensive coordinator for the Vikings in 2017. That was the year that the Vikings went to the NFC Championship and completely embarrassed themselves. Just like to go a little farther back, he was offensive coordinator for the Philadelphia Eagles in 2013 through 15. He was the interim head coach at the end because that was the year of Chip Kelly.
Nice.
the great Oregon coach that couldn't turn pro. So
Andy Reid.
I would imagine he didn't learn too much there. Chip Kelly was probably calling most of the plays. I didn't get that far into it, but then he went to the Minnesota Vikings 2016 as a tight ends coach, worked his way up to the interim offensive coordinator, and then into the offensive coordinator. Had that great season with Case Keenum. Moving on to be hired as the New York Giants head coach, where he had very little success with drafting Daniel Jones, and it just didn't go well for him over there. I only bring up Pat Shurmur and the GM George Patton too because George Patton was part of that front office that did draft Teddy Bridgewater, and they did bring Teddy Bridgewater over. And then you bring in a guy like Pat Shurmur, who coached, a really hardworking Case Keenum into a pretty decent quarterback, though he had Diggs and Thielen, pretty good core.
Yeah.
So, I feel like there's a possibility that maybe he could coach up Drew Lock, and I think that might be their choice. But I just don't think they're afraid to start Teddy Bridgewater at any point in time because they obviously trust this guy enough to bring him on. So, with that said, I will kick it over to you guys.
Ooh, Denver Broncos. Spicy potatoes.
Yeah, this is outside of the quarterback room, one of the best rosters in the league.
Oh, it is now, man.
Yeah.
They got nasty in free agency.
Yeah, they went hard. Kyle Fuller, Ronald Darby was really good. They basically just replaced everyone that they lost with better versions.
Yeah.
Maybe you could argue that Jarrell Casey, losing him was big, and they didn't really replace him with anybody. But fantasy-wise, I think they nailed it. Javonte averaged 5.8 yards per carry in their preseason game, and he just already looks like a stud RB. Like, you can just tell.
Dude, that first run where he just cut back, I was like, dude, it looked like watching a veteran.
Yeah, he was making just full speed adjustments on the fly.
Granted, that was the Vikings' second team. They didn't really start any starters, but still, dude, the way he cut back, he looked damn good.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, he looks awesome.
Yeah, this is offense that led the league in turnover rate last year at 17%, right? Followed by the second place was 15.3%. So that's a sizable gap. So 17% of their drives ended in a turnover. That's pretty incredible.
Yeah, that's insane.
Yikes.
So there's nowhere to go but up. I'll never get over the fact that they didn't draft Justin Fields.
Yeah, that's a big deal, but maybe Teddy Bridgewater lit a fire under Lock because he looked awesome. I know it was preseason, not to overhype, but 5 for 7 for 151 yards, 2 touchdowns, a passer rating of 153. The perfect passer rating is 158. So, he looked really good. So maybe that's just what he needed is some competition.
Hell yeah, man. I wish my team could play the Vikings defense every week.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to be good. But let's be real. If Drew Lock kind of puts it all together this year, then you're looking at a team that could easily make the playoffs.
Absolutely. They are untouchable as far as wide receiver rooms go with Jerry Jeudy, Cortland Sutton, even KJ Hamler. He's looked pretty good. I like Tim Patrick still,
Same.
We'll see what happens in the future. Noah Fant, big up and coming guy. But like you're saying, Javonte looked amazing. And Philip Lindsay left him 115 carries last year, 14 targets. So that's a little bit of work, Melvin had about 1,000 yards and 215 carries, 10 total touchdowns. So there's room to improve there. I'm pretty excited to watch this team. I've always kind of been a closet Broncos fan, but we'll see.
Well, yeah, not to mention that groin injury that apparently Melvin Gordon's suffering. It's apparently not serious, but definitely opens the door.
Not a time for an injury for somebody like Gordon.
Yeah, exactly.
You're already on the way out, but
that guy, man, what a guy.
And if you want to talk about, we are a dynasty podcast after all. I mean, they did draft Seth Williams, also, buddy. And I mean, Cortland Sutton and Tim Patrick are both free agents at the end of this year, so they're going to have to make a call. And depending on if they try to bring in a quarterback and spend a lot of money, they might not have money for Sutton. So Seth Williams is definitely a guy that I think dynasty players should keep their eye on.
Heck yeah, man. Sexy Sethy. I'm a fan of Mr. Seth Williams. And so, hopefully they do figure out something in that quarterback room. Or you never know, man. Maybe Drew Lock could unlock that potential that drew their eyes to draft him. So, there's not a lot of change going on in this division.
No, not at all. It all pretty much stayed the same.
Yeah. We got a little bit more change coming up these next guys. I guess I'll give them my usual. So their O-line came out at 25th rank last year, and now we're at 21st. Not a lot of change. The pass rush was 9th, and the secondary rank was 12th. So add Ronald Darby and Kyle Fuller and Patrick Surtain,
who also looked incredible.
Dude, that guy is so good. I still think J.C. Horn superior, but that's like only time will tell. I'm very, very excited to watch some of those baller ass cornerbacks. I love watching corners, man. Anyway, so I think that they're doing what they got to do. You got some slingers and Pat Mahomes and Justin Herbert, so you gotta get somebody that can do some coverage. Take away their options. So if you can't shut down a Hall of Fame level quarterback, you got to shut down their receiving options.
Yeah.
Focus on the other side of the ball.
Let's not forget Justin Fields was available.
Yeah.
Too. So that has to have some sort of trust in a Drew Lock or Teddy Bridgewater, right?
I hope it's Teddy. I mean, how cool would that be, right?
He got a standing ovation. Young guy. Standing ovation at U.S. Bank when he came in.
Nice.
Yeah, I mean, we all love Teddy Bridgewater, but
he's still like 28, right?
Yeah, but like I don't know. I feel like we've seen the extent of what he can do, and it's fine.
Yeah, I mean, accurate passer, but he doesn't have the big arm.
Yeah, he doesn't have the arm. He's not going to move your offense. So I feel like they're going to start with Lock, and then if it doesn't work, they do move to Teddy.
Yeah, I think that was always the plan. I mean, kind of YOLO it, and if it doesn't, try to salvage a conservative type of play.
Yeah, exactly. But Lock gives you the arm and the downfield passing that Teddy just can't. If he can be on the mark, obviously. But he's got the arm.
Yeah.
Fucking A.
Agreed. I agree with that. So, you guys want to move on?
Yeah. Sure.
Yeah. You want to start with? You guys want to go to Las Vegas so we can end with a bang?
Sure.
Yeah.
I don't think we want to end with Las
Raiders.
No. I'll give it a little bit on the Broncos. They were 5-11, 28th in scoring, and 25th in points allowed, and that comes from being in a division with some ballers, I think. So. But hit us with some Raider coaching.
Yeah, so we'll talk the Las Vegas Raiders. John Gruden, head coach. He's going to be there for a long time.
Or they take the cash hit, right?
At
some point, you just cut your losses, right?
He got the Patrick Mahomes deal before Patrick Mahomes deal. The 10-year $100 million, I believe.
Something like that. That's stupid. Hang on.
So
I got you.
That sounds right. That's too much money.
Yeah, for a guy who, about 100 million. The internet says. I don't know what about is, but.
So I was going to talk a little bit about Greg Olson, and I'm not talking about the tight end from the Carolina Panthers. I'm talking about the offensive coordinator of the Las Vegas Raiders. So this guy was also the offensive coordinator for the Jacksonville Jaguars in 2015 and 2016.
Ouch.
And you say ouch, but this was the Blake Bortles kind of breakout year. The boat, as we like to talk. This was the Allen Robinson era. The 2015, 151 targets, 1,400 yards, 14 touchdowns. And then another guy named Alan Hearns, who had 105 targets, 1,031 yards, and 10 touchdowns. So
The Yeldon days or whatever.
yeah, TJ Yeldon and Chris Ivory, if you recall, split in the backfield. But yeah, this was that Allen Robinson years, Alan Hearns, and then the following year, it was the Allen Robinson, Marquise Lee, and Alan Hearns show. And I don't know if you remember, this is where everybody fell in love with Allen Robinson. Yeah. And this is where people fell in love with kind of Marquise Lee.
Yeah.
Before the next year, where it just kind of all fell apart. And that was a little bit due to the boat kind of starting to sink its ship a little bit. He then went on to be the quarterbacks coach for the Los Angeles Rams. So he was under that new regime of John McVay's first year under offensive coordinator Matt LaFleur. Oh. So you would think he would have learned a little something. Because then the next year he went on to be the offensive coordinator for the Las Vegas Raiders now, which I don't know. We just haven't seen too much since then. So I don't know. I think you kind of expect a lot of disappointment.
Yeah,
typically
from all the receivers that you want to do well.
Yeah,
but
Alan Hearns did play for the Cowboys for 1 year.
It was a good year.
And also he's hurt. I didn't know that when I made that joke about him being asleep.
He also opted out of the last year for COVID, I think. So.
Oh, did he?
Mm.
Well, yeah. Well, so I don't know. I thought I'd bring up Greg Olson just because I thought maybe I'd find something interesting. And I never did. Besides from that Jacksonville stint,
that's pretty fire, man. Everyone's like, Blake Bortles, all right. King of Florida.
Yeah. The boat, I believe, the best of all time. And, Allen Robinson. But, I'll just kick it over to you guys. Go for it. Let's talk about the Las Vegas Raiders.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, one of their big issues was their offensive line. They finished 17th in passing and 26th in run blocking, and they didn't really do anything to address it. I mean, they got rid of Trent Brown. That was the Patriots lineman that left and didn't do as well that I referenced earlier. And then they drafted Alex Leatherwood, which was almost universally panned for being too early. But, I mean, if he's still a good player, then who cares? And let's hope that he is. But I don't know that that's going to move the needle much on their offensive line rankings. And they're going to, these receivers, Ruggs, Bryan Edwards, Hunter Renfrow, all disappointed, really, in their first year. I mean, I guess Hunter Renfrow would be the best out of those guys, but he still didn't even do that well. And then they bring in John Brown, which is cool, but you lost Nelson Aguilar, who had 82 targets. So I don't know who's taking these targets. Is it one of those guys? Is it Willie Snead, Zay Jones? You want to talk about weak wide receiver cores?
Are you fucking kidding me with this? Are you joking right now, man?
Oh, come on.
You ever heard of Bryan Edwards, dude?
I heard he didn't do anything.
He had only 15 targets, and he averaged 17 and a half yards per pass caught.
Is that true?
Hell yeah, it's true. And
I saw something different.
He's only 22 years old. He had an 80% dominator rating in college. His breakout age was 100 percentile. Dude, 6'3", 212. Had a Jones fracture coming out of college. Was injured last year. Oh, my God. Yeah, I'm with you, though. Hunter Renfrow, 77 targets. But you're talking about Darren Waller, man. 145 targets last year and nearly 1,200 yards and 9 touchdowns. The fucked up thing about Las Vegas is they were the 10th scoring offense last year. Can you believe that?
That is wild.
They were putting down some work. obviously they had the 30th ranked points allowed. So, their defense just was like, we're not going to stay on the field, allow the other team to score, please. And so when you get that amount of opportunities, you're going to put up some points. I think a lot of it came from Josh Jacobs, a little underrated. He had 273 attempts, just over 1,000 yards. And now you have Kenyon Drake, who had over 200 opportunities carrying the ball for the Cardinals last year. So you bring up the weak passing game, and honestly, it looks like they're going to try to do like a 1-2 punch with their running backs and then go off on Waller and then hope Bryan Edwards, who will be a number one wide receiver in this offense, hope that he can hold down his shit. I mean, Hunter Renfro's tight, but like he's not going to probably be on the field, right? Like John Brown's probably going to lock that down.
Don't look at me. I dropped his ass.
So, sorry. I mean, I'm 100% in on Bryan Edwards, and I always have been.
Yeah. I'm not saying he can't be good, but I mean, he had a little over one target per game.
Yeah, he also didn't have that many snaps. So
yeah, well, there's a reason for that. Why?
Injury.
I mean, he played 12 games.
That's true. All right,
I'm not saying he's going to be bad, but I'm just saying they all disappointed. They did. I mean, other than Renfro, didn't disappoint, but he still wasn't that good, especially not in the red zone. But yeah, I mean, if he bounces back, then it looks a little better. But I'm out on Ruggs. I don't know what it is about Ruggs, but I don't see it. And then you got Renfro, who's fine, and then John Brown is old but good. And then if Bryan Edwards is good, like you say he is
good.
Then it looks a lot better. But we got to see it.
You'll see it, my friend.
Okay.
You will see it. Yeah,
Who
go ahead.
Play in college with?
He played with Deebo Samuel and broke the South Carolina receiving record that year. Played alongside him. No big deal.
No big deal.
Go Gamecocks.
But I'm with you on the 1-2 running back punch. I don't know why the trend seems to be out on Josh Jacobs when I feel like he's going to do even better.
He's turned up 45 targets last year. Like, it just kind of add another 20 targets to him every year. It's going well.
Yeah, people always freak out when you bring in a secondary running back to help carry the load, and yet it's been proven to actually benefit a lot of times. Like Nick Chubb, Kareem Hunt, Aaron Jones, AJ Dillon, Mark Ingram, Alvin Kamara. Like, it's not like any of those guys did bad because there was another guy there. So I don't know why just bringing in Kenyon Drake would make people out on Josh Jacobs. But I'd say take advantage of that if you can in your league. Like, try and go get him.
No shot.
DJ.
Yeah, he's the kind of guy that, he's like the David Montgomery of last year almost. Like, you could really get a bargain on him.
Yeah.
In redraft or whatever the fuck you want to do. But this is a dynasty league, so go trade for his ass. Just don't fuck with AJ because he just traded for that ass.
Just traded for him. Him and Cortland Sutton. Let's go. Come on.
Yeah, buddy.
Drew Lock.
All AFC West all the time. But, I don't have a ton to say about this team. Derek Carr has shown, like, flashes, but, like, he's so inconsistent, and he's broken my heart so many times. And, like, both ways, He's had some bullshit calls against the Chiefs that pissed me off, but then he's also had some bullshit fantasy runs when I was counting on him. So he pisses me off, man.
Yeah, he's also just kind of a baby, but that's different.
We're all bigger fans of his brother, so
yeah,
it's all good.
No, but I mean, you pretty much know what you're gonna get out of Derek Carr, though, and that's that 12 to 16 range quarterback. Which, I mean, hey. Fuck it, especially if he's your backup. That's great.
No, I mean, he's very consistent as far as not being a quarterback one.
Yeah, that's fair.
No, but I really do think this team is going to take a step forward. in the wide receiver room. So
Oh yeah. I thought you meant as a whole. I was like, oh
no, the O line backwards is trash, man. I did like Alex Leatherwood, but apparently he didn't impress people. He was a first round projected draft pick before the draft process started. So it's not like he didn't perform well in college.
It just seemed weird. There were better people there, I felt like, when he was taken.
Yeah, a lot better people.
I don't remember though.
It was Darrisaw and the USC guy.
Oh yeah. Vera Tucker. Yeah, Vera Tucker, I would rather have both those guys than Leatherwood. But maybe Mike Mayock can prove us all wrong, even though he's consistently done the opposite since he came in. It sucks though, because I don't know who's drafting those guys. Is it Mayock or Gruden? I feel like Gruden has way too much power.
Gruden only gets even numbered years. So.
I mean, for crying out loud, I would hope Gruden has some say, if not all the say, if he's getting paid $100 million over 10 years.
I mean, that's fair, but Mike Mayock was the draft analyst guy for NFL Network. So you go spend all that money to pull him out of that cushy ass job. You can't then not give him any power, you know?
Yeah, that's true.
Hey, at least they didn't trade any second round draft picks to the Dolphins for nothing this year or whatever the fuck. You guys remember that Lynn Bowden shit?
Yeah.
Maybe it was a third round pick, but who the hell? You can't trade a guy that you just drafted, man.
Yeah, that's weird.
For the belt league. It's ridiculous. Yeah. Man, fuck all this. Let's talk about the Chargers,
Go on to the Los Angeles Chargers. Man, all this changed, dude. The future sucks, by the way. We got SEC, or Big 12 teams going to the SEC. We got NFL teams changing locations. I hate it.
Little 12 teams. Yeah, I mean, basketball said it right, man.
Yep, that's actually very true.
Yeah.
Ahead of their time. But, we'll talk the Los Angeles Chargers here. We're going to talk about Joe Lombardi.
Hit him.
So, as we've talked about before, I mean, this guy's been with the Saints since 2007, aside from going on to the Detroit Lions. So we'll just start from the beginning. He was a defensive assistant in 2006. This was the beginning of his NFL career. Moved on to be an offensive assistant in 2007 to 2008. Moving on up to the quarterbacks coach from 2009 to 2013. And then being hired as an offensive coordinator for the Detroit Lions under Jim Caldwell. This was Caldwell's first year. They did go 11-5, but I mean, already established Matt Stafford. He threw for 4,200 yards and 22 touchdowns. This was the Golden Tate, Calvin Johnson, Reggie Bush years. Stayed there at 2015, where it remained to be the Golden Tate, Calvin Johnson. But this was also like an aging Calvin Johnson, like 29, 30 years old. He still put up monster numbers in 2015, putting up 1,200 yards and 9 touchdowns. It's hard to not do well with that, but they didn't. So 2016, he goes back to the New Orleans Saints under the quarterbacks coach. 2016, 2020. It doesn't get more consistent than the New Orleans Saints with the Drew Brees and Sean Payton. So he moves on to be the Los Angeles Chargers from 2021 to present. So this year, under new head coach Brandon Staley, who is a defensive guy. He came over from the Los Angeles Rams. And I did see in his interview he wants to keep – Brandon Staley did mention he wants to keep his eye on the offense, but he is going to focus mainly on the defense. So I think we can look more to Joe Lombardi's kind of debut as a newly founded offensive coordinator, because we're just going to scratch the Lions off of the map. But Justin Herbert, all that, just go, guys, just go.
Justin Herbert's all that.
He is all that.
And a bag of chips.
Beast.
Crispy as hell.
Another team in the same division that decided, oh, hey, we've got an awesome quarterback. Why don't we make sure our offensive line is good? And, who knows if it's going to work? Corey Linsley was the best center in football last year. And, I mean, they gave him money. They made him the highest paid one, so he better keep playing like that. And I think he will. He was great for us being Green Bay.
Thank you for that. We all know
ever since we drafted him, and so I don't see that changing. They have Brian Bulaga, who's great if he can stay healthy. He was also with us being the Green Bay Packers, and so that worked. And then they drafted LaShawn Slater in the first round. So I mean, you're expecting a rookie to come in and start immediately, but if it works and Herbert has time, he should be even better because he put up those numbers that he put up last year behind one of the worst offensive lines in the league.
I had a line rank of 32.
Oh, so the worst.
Yeah.
So.
And they had Matt Filer as well, right?
Yeah.
Fuck yeah. It's pretty solid. The Pittsburgh Steelers, man. Good luck. But, yeah, man, if you think that they're going to be improved, I'd say they almost have to be improved. We're talking about a team that was on fire, right? So they went 7-9. They were 19th in scoring. But hear this. They were 6th in passing yards, 26th in rushing touchdowns, and 19th in scoring. So that tells me that they were moving the ball quite a bit. They just couldn't seal the deal.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then you talk about a guy like Austin Eckler. We're all super excited about him. He definitely missed some time last year. But rushing yards over 4 seasons, 9. All right, rushing touchdowns over 4 seasons is 9. So
yeah.
I think that you up that offensive line. You bring in some bigger backs like Larry Roundtree out of Missouri. All of a sudden, you got your missing red zone rushing game. Bada ching, man. You drop the 1, all of a sudden you're the 19th scoring team. You make the playoffs. It's amazing. They're really doing shit right in Los Angeles.
Yeah,
and I'm not
this
just
should be
saying that.
Fun division to watch, honestly, with the 3 top teams or the 2 top teams and then the 2 that could go either way. And then speaking of red zone and scoring, I mean, they added another weapon who led them in targets and yards in their first preseason game in Josh Palmer.
Let's fucking go.
I think he has a chance to get decent minutes this year, and then with Mike Williams probably on the way out,
For sure.
that's a dynasty pickup that I think everyone should be kicking themselves that they didn't get.
Not me, brother.
Talking about Mike Williams?
Josh Palmer. Oh.
Stop it.
Yeah, I'll give you Palmer. He's pretty badass coming out of Tennessee. He looked really, really good over the weekend. And he does slate well. Jalen Guyton's also on the last year of a deal. But you want to talk about last year's? We got Donald Parham and Jared Cook, both on their last years of the deal. So I'm looking at the future, looking at Trey McKitty, of course. You know, I got to talk about little McKitty cat at the tight end position. Basically, the rookie class they brought in is hot, man.
Yeah.
So between Palmer and I like Roundtree. Obviously, he's not up there for everybody. He's a 6th round running back, but he had some good shit going on in college. If you want to hear about that, just listen to any of our episodes. So, if we want to talk about the Chargers as a whole, we're looking at a team that struggled rushing the ball, as I mentioned. Kalen Ballage is out of town. He had 88 carries last year, which was actually pretty solid for this team. And he had 3 rushing touchdowns, which led the team, I'm pretty sure. And then Hunter Henry is with the Patriots now. He had 93 targets for about 600 yards. So there's some opportunity for some of these younger guys. We're talking Josh Palmer Trey McKitty to step up into some of these roles. I look for Jared Cook to have a pretty baller-ass year this year as well. But, I mean, it's all about Justin Herbert, man. Like, this guy's about to get unlocked and just be – I mean, he's going to set the tone for what being a badass in America really is about. Sorry, Gardner Minshew. Whew.
Yeah, I mean, I couldn't have said it any better myself. The Chargers are borderline playoff team.
Yeah, man, they took a few years off. They've always been, like, right up there, especially.
Well, I mean, that defense should be good, too. You know, bring in Derwin James.
Oh, Derwin.
Guy's amazing.
6 to
If
midnight.
he could stay healthy.
Such a Derwin guy. Yeah, I don't know. Their defense is pretty hot. Pretty hot. But
And they did lose Casey Hayward and Melvin Ingram, though. So.
Yep, that's true. And Rashad Jenkins. So,
yeah, that's the Los Angeles Chargers. I think a lot of optimism. You know, it's first year head coach. So.
I just think this team's going to be really good. But it was another team that didn't have that much turnover. Really, I mean, they did at tight end and sort of at running back, and then it was mostly offensive line. But
we'll say
it was mostly coaching staff, really.
Yeah.
And I got to say, they were in a lot of like, how many times did they lose the game with the ball in the fourth quarter in the red zone?
I remember watching that game.
Too many.
I had Mike Williams,
fucked up, man.
And they threw that fade to him in the end zone, and he dropped it, pass interference. So they run the exact same play, and then it was to a tight end, and he dropped it, and I was just like, I lost the game, and it was just a fantasy moment. I'll just say that.
There was definitely some. I like Anthony Lynn, but he was making some pretty dirty calls there at the end of the games. Yeah. Not dirty, but like just filthy.
That was his.
Not filthy, just disgusting.
That was his weakness as a coach for sure. Was like decision making, because he was weird about like how to spend timeouts too.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, Justin Herbert's gonna be a baller. It's Herbert time.
Dude.
I mean, Mike Williams, Keenan Allen, dude. I'm in
Allen,
love with Keenan Allen. Whenever I saw him, I swept that mother trucker up.
He better stay healthy, you know. He's got a bit of a checkered past, but he's coming off a couple of years of playing strong. So,
yeah.
See if we can keep it rolling. Hayton, trying to catch him playing dirty.
So I think, can we assume the Chiefs are going to win this division? I just assume.
I mean,
not if Tyreek gets hurt. Apparently, they're going to have to trade for Bryan Edwards if they want to legit
trade for Terrace Marshall Jr.
Fuck that, dude. Get that shit out of my face. I can't believe I fucking saw Andy Reid at the racetrack the next day, and I was like, I want to run up and be like, what the fuck? But then I also I didn't really want to get beat up. Did you even text
Pat Mahomes? Did you even ask him what he wanted?
Right? It's like, that didn't work out last year, did it? It's like, whatever. Should have let it be. LSU.
Let it be.
Whisper words of wisdom, baby. Yeah.
Also, I know I say it a lot, but can we just talk for just a quick second on how overrated John Gruden is? Like,
you have the floor, man. I'm gonna go to the G Love camp.
I mean, he won a Super Bowl in 2002 and has not made it back to the playoffs since. Not once.
Team.
That was Tony Dungy's team.
That was Tony's team.
Yeah, he took it, coached it, because he got traded to the Buccaneers, took it to the Super Bowl, hasn't been back since. Took some time off, was a mediocre Monday Night Football color guy, and then got a 10-year, $10 million or $100 million deal. Like, what? I don't understand. And everyone was talking about the Raiders being a Super Bowl contender, and they still act like he's a great coach, and he's done nothing but mediocrity since he's gotten to Oakland.
He must be a better interviewer than Eric Bieniemy.
You took my job.
Yeah. Fuck you.
I don't know.
Is that predictable now? Shit. Now
I know that doesn't matter at all, but I just had to get it off my chest. I don't understand.
All good, dude. 15 picks for Drew Lock.
15.
It's a lot.
Yeah, I think he might have had a number of fumbles too.
He didn't even play 16 games.
Nah, man, Gruden. I like things about John Gruden, but yeah, he sucks ass, dude. He's I mean, Derek Carr could have been coached into being a pretty good fucking quarterback.
Yeah.
And then instead he's got I feel like, I don't know, Gruden kind of he probably talks shit behind his players.
Yeah, does Gruden even like Derek Carr?
According to that Hard Knocks, I was like, is Mike Glennon going to be the starting quarterback in Las Vegas? What the hell's going on with this?
You can't do that with Derek Carr. He blocks people for having negative Raiders tweets. You can't do that to Derek Carr.
He's a man of God.
He's fairly sensitive.
All right. Well, y'all want to wrap on this?
Guess so.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks, guys. Appreciate you tuning in. Thanks.
Hey, thanks.
Hey, appreciate it. My wife forgot we were doing the podcast tonight.
Dude, my girlfriend did too. She called me 20 minutes ago.
That's my girlfriend.
You're gonna be asleep. You're gonna be congested. An injection? I don't know.
My girlfriend was just like, "Are you coming here tonight?" Like, I was like, "You dreamt that because I'm not going to the podcast."
What is with these women?
They hungry for